So good evening, everybody. Welcome to the September Maryland Forward Party meeting. Go ahead and share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. And then I will, if I do this, can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Cool. All right, so September 12th happens to be a special day for me. It's my birthday. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Can we all sing happy birthday?
No, please don't. But do note this is what I'm doing on my birthday.
Extra credit.
That's right. Okay, so tonight's agenda, we're going to do some leadership introductions. We're going to talk about our values a little bit. We're going to talk about candidate affiliations. We've got some news there. We'll do some general updates, some upcoming events, and we'll close out. And so leadership updates, wanted to point out by area who's leading the various sections of Maryland for the Forward Party. So myself and John, mostly John, Caves is leading Western Maryland, or sometimes called Mountain Maryland if you're talking about Allegheny and Garrett County. And John lives in Brunswick and I live in Frederick. And Brandon, I guess, were we supposed to introduce ourselves during all this? Maybe I should give John a second to introduce himself. John, go ahead. Nobody wants to hear about me. Everybody knows about me. John, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello, nice to meet you all. I'm Don Caves. At this point, a lot of you have seen me already. But I came to Forward late last year, or early this year, because it was an alternative to two parties that I didn't have much in common with anymore, and it was an alternative with an to get on the ballot, to start getting candidates, and we are continuing to move forward with it. No pun intended, although it often comes up. And I'll talk a little bit later about upcoming events.
Perfect. Yeah, we can't get away from the forward pun. That always comes up. Brandon Hines.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, Brandon Baird here. Like the map shows, I'm in Montgomery County. I'm in Germantown. Clinical data analyst by day and volunteer whenever I can find time. But no, I've been doing this for about a year. Really happy to be here. Similar to what John said. For a long time, I was just kind of looking for different answers, knowing that there had to be better solutions out there, not knowing exactly what they were, and then learned about some of the reforms that Ford is championing, and made a lot of sense to me, and I was on board right away. And we'll talk more about the values as well that really resonate. Again, happy to be here. Glad to see some familiar faces, and look forward to the conversation.
Cool. Hines?
And I'm the other half of Montgomery County, Matt Hines. I live in Rockville, Maryland. I've lived in Maryland my whole life, but bounced around the state quite a bit. I got involved with Forward, I guess almost a year ago, maybe a little bit less than a year ago. I've been working on a campaign that got endorsed by the Legacy Forward Party, and really liked what they were striving to achieve and wanted to get involved. And these guys got me stuck, and I've been trying to get out ever since and can't get out. So thanks everybody for coming tonight, and looking forward to diving in with you guys.
That's a good stuck though, right, Matt?
Absolutely.
Okay. PG County, Pete and Ashley Burks, who I don't think Ashley is here tonight, but Pete?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Pete Oliver Kruger, Pete OK for short. And I got involved, well, I don't even know how long ago it's been, but it's within the past year. Very similar kind of message, just sort of tired with the choices that are out there and things not getting done. So looking for new options and be part of something that's doing something different.
Okay, thank you. And oh, look, I can control the slides from this screen. This is really interesting. So Ashley Burks is going to be joining us. She's going to be part of the communications, and she's going to be helping out with the PG County lead. She just came on board last week, so we're still getting her situated and such. But we're really excited about having a communications person on board. Anne Arundel County, Mike.
Hey, my name is Michael Lachlan. I got involved with Forward earlier this year when they were starting to form the board up and get this party kind of going. I came to Forward, really believe in the ranked choice voting and its need in the state. And the one thing, once Andrew's book came out and everything else, and we started actually getting traction, actually have a shot at getting this done, decided to put some effort into it and put money where my mouth was. So good to see everyone here who I haven't seen before.
And you have definitely put your money where your mouth is, Mike. You are well appreciated. Thank you for participating. Baltimore City, PJ.
Everybody, nice to meet you. PJ Benanati. Grew up in Frederick, but I've been living in Baltimore the last couple of years. Similarly, joined Forward earlier this spring. Working kind of out of the Baltimore area and mostly focused around kind of the communications, a little bit on the recruiting side too. It's kind of where I've been fitting in lately.
A lot on the recruiting side lately. And in Caroline County, we have, and by the way, the recruiting is very much appreciated. I didn't mean to downplay that at all. In Caroline County, we have a brand new lead. And so, Kristen Williams, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
I'm originally from Montgomery County. I grew up in Kensington. We moved out here in 2006. A little more elbow room out here in the country. And I got involved with Forward. I've actually been, I guess, because I heard about Andrew Yang and I've read a couple of his books, and that sort of started it. And then when Maryland Forward started, I think I was originally like donating for a while, but then I quit my job. But and now I am a massage therapist. I'm actually opening a soft opening tomorrow, my business, and gonna try to help with getting events. I think might be more useful with getting events going once I figure out this Forward Nation page thing, Nation Builder. And I don't know about recruiting, so I'm glad there's somebody really good at recruiting on the team.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you on board. Thank you. All right, St. Mary's County, we got Ethan Chan. Ethan's not on this evening, but he's a brand new county lead in St. Mary's, and we're very excited to have filled that slot and hope we'll make some inroads there. And then Wicomico County, Tom Cropper, also brand new as a county lead, also not here this evening, unfortunately, but also very excited about him. And he and Kristen are very close together in Caroline County and Wicomico County. So they'll be doing some events together, I'm sure. And Kristen, don't you have an event coming up?
Yes, in Ridgely, October 28th. I think John cleaned it up for me and got it posted.
Perfect. All right. Maybe we'll hear some more about that in a little bit. And then the rest of these outlined areas, we still need leads. So if one of you lives in these areas, or if you'd like to take over leads for that area, we would love to hear from you. Basically, the lead is the person that's going to try to track down other people in the county, host events in the county, find events for us to attend in the county, and help us get signatures so that we can expand to all of Maryland, because that, of course, is the goal, to include all of us. Okay, so on the agenda, we're onto the values section, and then did anybody in particular want to talk to this section? Pete, maybe?
Sure, I can walk through this one. All right, so if you have not been here before or you have not been introduced to it, we are doing things differently, and the Forward Party has a different way to run their, how they guide what we do. And so one of the first ones that this comes up a lot, so I'll put this slide first, is no spoilers. So our intent is not to spoil the election. If you've heard about this phrase, basically, if you run a person in against a candidate, but you know that you don't have enough votes in order to win, what you end up doing is just stealing votes away from other candidates that people want. And we are here to support the people who are part of, who are want to see things happening and, to support our membership that are here. So the Forward Party has decided formally that they will not run a presidential candidate in 2023. So if anybody brings this up or anybody's talking to you about this and they're worried about the spoiler effect, you can share that idea that this is not something that we will be doing inside of or in the presidential elections. Next slide, Matt. All right, so this is the general approach that the National Party takes. So they set a bunch of principles and values. So based upon those principles and values, those of us at the state level then are setting some priorities. Based upon those priorities, then we want to be able to guide legislation. So we let candidates to take there and decide on their own positions on different things, as long as they align with the values and the principles of the party. And then the people themselves then get to choose which candidates they want to vote for based on the positions that they take, based on the values, based upon the principles. So that's how all of that flows together and sort of trickles down from the National Party. Next slide. So what are those values? These are the values that the National Party themselves have established and set up to get us rolling. So the goal is to have bottom up, not top down. So we want to, collect and get some ideas from the bottom up, work on those things. Diverse thinking is not just welcome, it is required. So we want to pull from lots of different places. Best things, best ideas get to bubble up to the top. We want to work together, not against each other. We want to support grace and tolerance in many different forms. So we might just be being civil to each other is a lot how a bunch of these things come about. We care about that. We care about listening. We care about hearing more and understanding what's going on, more so than talking and being heard by others. And all are welcome, left, right, center. Our doors are open. So as far as any particular solutions, there are no very specific slots that are taken or stances that are taken, but there are three things that the National Party wants us to do across the country. And then you'll see there's a theme between these. So it's nonpartisan primaries. You might call this, it's not the same thing as an open primary, if you've heard that. And what was the other one that Zach said recently? It's the single primary. That was it, single primary. So the idea with this is that you have a single primary with all of the candidates inside of that, and you get to vote for whomever you wish. So that if you want to vote for a Democrat, you can vote for them. If you want to vote for Republican, you vote for them. You want to vote for an independent, you can vote for them. You don't have to sign up and say, I'm only going to vote Democrat or Republican. Or in the state of Maryland, if you sign up and say, I'm going to be independent, you don't get to vote for anybody. And that's a problem. So our primaries are decided, basically our voting in the fall is decided by the primaries, which is only voted on in less than half of the population, I think was some of the latest numbers that we have. And so that's a thing we have to do. Now, how do you do that with a single primary when you have all of these different candidates? And so if we want to avoid the idea where people are hopping over and voting for, there's a strategy that the parties are using right now, which is that if they feel like they're safe, then people in the party will jump over to the other party's election and register and then vote for a candidate that they want to run against instead of voting for the candidate that they actually want to win. And so this is becoming a big point of strife, and we don't have votes happening for people that people actually want to see. So election reform and the idea of ranked choice voting is the second one here, so that we set up this thing that we've got this single list. You can vote for anyone. You say, I would like this person, and then I would like this person, and then I would like this person. And so you can vote for anybody that you think would be good. And if they get enough votes, they win. And it does some automatic runoff things. And there's more details if anybody wants to know more about the different versions. There's also about 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 different versions of this of ranked choice voting. that are out there. And so we want to sort of figure out what are the best ones across the country, so that we make sure that we do the best things for our states. So you may have heard Alaska is doing some of this, California is doing some of this, a few of the other states are doing this. Rockville is doing this, Tacoma Park is doing this. There's a bunch of cities in Maryland that are doing ranked choice voting. So we get to see how onto that's coming out. And the last one is about gerrymandering. So we want to have a nonpartisan, independent redistricting commission to make sure that we're drawing fair boundaries for our districts.
And I just want to add to that, Pete. We don't have specific positions on which election reform. We will discuss that when we get a bill on the floor, and then we can have a conversation about what is the best solution for that. But the idea is just to get a bill on the floor, which is why we're here as a party, is to get legislators elected so that we can get a bill on the floor.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Pete. So next thing on our list is candidate affiliations. I'm sure you all have been waiting for this. We have some exciting news for you this evening. So we have been working very hard as your Maryland Forward Party Board to recruit affiliates and candidates. Obviously, we can't run candidates at the moment because we're not yet a party. And if you haven't yet signed the petition, please do so, or please contact one of us to do so. You can download the petition from the website. There's a big button at the top that says petition with some pretty clear instructions. Once we collect enough signatures, we'll submit that and we'll become a party. Then we can submit our own candidates. But in the meantime, we're collecting affiliates, and we have a couple of them on the line this evening. But prospective candidates and affiliates, just to review really quickly, we have for city council or county council, we have 12 prospective candidates and partners. State delegates, we've got 3 that we're looking at. State senators, we're looking at 1, and U.S. congressional district candidates, I can tell you that we've got 3 that we're looking at the moment, one of whom is on tonight, one of whom for city is on tonight, and you're going to hear from them very shortly. So we are very excited about this upcoming election and the number of candidates that are signed on to be part of Forward because they want to have more conversation and less conflict. So we are looking for partnerships. If you know of somebody who might want to run for city council or for county council or for state legislator or state senator or what have you, let us know. You can reach us at maryland@forwardparty.com, and we'll be happy to hear from you, and we'll track that person down and have a conversation with them. The interesting thing is that the conversations that we have, once we get to the conversation part, are really easy. A lot of candidates really sign on to our message really quickly with very little convincing. And so we're very excited. First on the list this evening, Mr. Stephen McDowell, running for Maryland 6th. I'll let Stephen talk at this point. Stephen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephen McDowell. I'm candidate for U.S. Congress in the Maryland 6th. It's interesting enough, I started thinking about what I was going to say today, and I just learned that the same person that called me a Martha's Vineyard elitist last week called me an anti-democratic candidate aligning with anti-democratic forces. So that ought to tell you the message that's being put out, the fact that I've aligned as a forward Democrat. And you know what? That makes me happy. That means we're really ruffling feathers, and it cannot be business as usual. And we have to continue to make a statement. The establishment cannot anoint and appoint people. That those individuals have to be selected from the bottom up, same as with legislation. And that's why I felt my alignment with the Forward Party was not only timely, it was serendipitous, because I felt like I was a puppy without a home, no pun intended, because I just adopted one from the pound. But yes, I'm excited about nonpartisan primaries. I like the slide. An inclusive trade deal is very important, not only for American interests, but also to maintain a stable alignment from a geopolitical perspective. As we saw today, we have North Korea aligning with Putin, South Africa aligning with Putin, many other African nations leaving sort of Western interests and aligning with Putin. And if we do not develop a strong trade deal, things will not only be out of balance, but we could really be looking at some tough geopolitical, tough economic environment from a geopolitical perspective. And then my marijuana safe law, listen, the American Academy of Pediatrics, there's been a 1,000% increase in young people, children who have been admitted to the hospital because of accidental dosing from edibles. And when I started thinking about what can we do, I said, well, let's just have a law that states that individuals with edibles, whether it's for recreational or medical, have to maintain their product within a locked safe. One person said, oh, now you're disenfranchising more Black and brown people. And I said, that's bollocks. I said, a safe on Amazon is only $12. I said, and if anything, I'm actually trying to protect those individuals with medical and recreational marijuana, because if these cases continue to rise, you rest assured, the American Academy of Pediatrics, along with the AMA and other interested parties, will start looking for prohibitions again in the use of marijuana. And it's happening because kids and young people don't know the difference between what is, sort of virgin, as they say, or what is spiked. So I'm excited to that a Congressman Stephen would actually submit that legislation. So it goes on and on. I'm very excited about my support and stance on small business, especially small and mid-sized family farms. I was out with the gang at the Frederick in the Streets event, and I had an interesting woman walk up to me, and she looked at my palm card and she said, this whole idea of small business tax credits, incentives, just doesn't resonate with me. And my response to her, I wanted to say, I didn't say it because I didn't want to become oppositional, but I did want to say to her that then you don't want your job, because business is what drives our entire ecosystem. But what that did tell me is that we have to continue, even as a forward party, to have very intentional and very strategic intersectional conversations with people, so that they really understand what we're trying to do. I don't know where the anti-democratic idea came from. If anything, we're trying to empower the 876,000 unaffiliated voters in the state of Maryland with our positions on nonpartisan primaries. We want everyone to have an equitable shake. So I don't understand how that's anti-democratic, but if that is, I guess that's how it has to be. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to working and getting to know everyone for, throughout the rest of this campaign, and supporting you and us in achieving real change here in Maryland.
Thank you, Stephen. And we are so excited to have you as an affiliate for the Forward Party. So welcome this evening, and thank you very much for your words. Second up is a brand new announcement that we just made this morning. Wendy Bozell is an affiliate for the mayor of Baltimore. She'll be running as a Forward Democrat. Wendy, you are on the line, yes?
Yes, hi. Sorry I was a little late. I had a meeting with Mayor Bowser in DC. I'm trying to get her support. So I met her here at an event for Ukrainian. Today is Ukrainians' celebration for freedom, their Freedom Day. So she was at the event and I was able to meet her. And all I could get from her is that she supports Baltimore. So I guess she has to learn a little bit more about me first. But I'm so excited to be a Forward Democrat. And it's such an easy thing to say. And the philosophies just go hand in hand. I'm just so excited to be running for Baltimore City and giving Baltimore City citizens a choice. I mean, right now it's just Brandon Scott and Sheila Dixon in the primary. And I am so excited to be able to do that. And my kickoff is coming up September 27th. So I hope people can join me at Angie's Seafood from 5 to 8. And I have some free appetizers for anybody who comes. So I hope to see you there.
What day is that, Wendy? Sorry to
It's a
interrupt.
Wednesday. I'm sorry. Wednesday, September 27th. And pretty excited.
So tell people a little bit about yourself. What are your key platform issues?
Okay.
What do they know about you?
Okay. I am working to prevent crime and incarceration. I'm working to build community, support education, and clean up Baltimore. And basically, I have been working in the ground level. I am a Baltimore City teacher, but I'm a home and hospital teacher, which means I go into kids' homes and I teach kids that are in the hospital. And I guess the real thing that pushed me into running for mayor was when 3 of my students were shot and paralyzed. And I knew I had to do more than just teach students. I had to be an advocate for their safety and try to change the city, make it safer, make the schools really more equitable. Right now, people don't realize that every school, it's 160 schools, and each principal has total autonomy of the budget. I recently went and spoke at the teachers union meeting, and I said, okay, everybody raise your hand when you ask your principal for something. What do they say? Not in the budget. And almost every teacher raised their hand. And it's because these principals don't know how to run the $2 to $3 million or 15 million if you are a high school teacher. So I want to bring that back and use it to make the budgets more equitable and have them centrally done. Then I really want to work on crime as a whole, that we have to look at what is causing the crime. And a lot of it has to deal with mental issues, drug use, food insecurity. Let's address the issues that cause people to go out and commit crime and not arrest them and put them in jail. That's never the answer. I also want to try to work on trying to, we have clean up the city. We don't have one recycling day, which is taken away. That in itself causes a lot of trash that we see all over our city. We have to address the vacant home issue. And I really want to look at that. They're not vacant homes. These are abandoned homes that have been abandoned for 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. And we have homes, we have schools, we have businesses. Let's look at them and see what we can do to turn them around. So I just want to work together, get people's ideas, and let's make the city vibrant, and let's work together to do that.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Welcome, and glad to have you as an affiliate. And the announcement went out this morning, and lots of response already, positive response. We're very happy.
I'm so excited to hear that.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you. It's easy to be a forward Democrat because you're basically looking at the issues from the bottom up, and let's solve them.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. So on to some general updates. Since our last meeting, we had book club where they read Now What on August 16th. And we did the Greenbelt Labor Day Festival on September 2nd. And that was very successful. We got a bunch of signatures. One of the amazing things that not a lot of people attended, but because it was private and by invitation only, was the Leadership Summit on September 5th. We had 8 candidates and potential candidates attending with national leadership and with it's just a really good discussion on what Forward is and how we work together as a party and what we want to accomplish. And it was just a really vibrant meeting. And as a result, we have several more people interested in signing up as Forward affiliates. So really excited about that. Anybody else want to say anything about the Leadership Summit? Thank you, Pete. Joe Sestak. Yes, Joe Sestak, former admiral, hosted the meeting and did a wonderful job of it. Anybody else want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I just want to thank PJ again for all his organizing on that. And I think it's great. It was the leadership summit. Showed us that not only are we building a community of volunteers, we're also building a community of leaders and people who want to run for office. So it was great hearing their stories. Yeah, and it just another side of the energy. It's great.
I can, as a, I guess being on a call for the first time with the group like that in a summit, I wanted to have more dialogue, more engagement. And that's not a critique. That's just I was so excited by the individuals' comments and perspectives. It was interesting to see how so many of us aligned in that we were looking for something different. But then yet we do have nuances and differences in our policy positions that we could collaborate together on. So yeah, it was just awesome. We could have a jam session like that, like as much as you want. I love to talk anyway. So I love to don't get me wrong, I'm not just a talker, but I love to collaborate. So
I agree, Stephen. It would have been great to have more time with an open discussion, and hopefully there'll be another opportunity.
We were already half an hour over on that meeting, and we couldn't get people to stop talking. It was great. There was a lot of energy. And thank you, Stephen, for not mentioning names. We specifically didn't mention any names of who was at the Leadership Summit. Stephen outed himself, and that's fine. But that's totally cool. But the reason we didn't mention names and the reason we haven't mentioned names is because we want to respect people's timelines. So when they decide to announce, they will announce. We don't want to preempt them in any way, shape, or form. And so keep your eye out for upcoming announcements and press releases because there are some major things happening in the Forward Party. But I can't say too much more yet. Frederick in the Streets was this past weekend. Let's see, who was out there? Ben, Dave, Rachel, Brandon, myself, Stephen McDowell was there for a little bit. I'm teasing. He was there for a while. Stephen and I had a great day joking around with each other. Did I miss anybody that was there? But the point is, we interacted with a bunch of people, collected about 120 signatures. And this is pretty much how our events are going. We're collecting between 100 and 120, 150 signatures an event. The message is really resonating with people. And what I would say to that is it takes about 5 minutes or so to talk to each person, which means that for every 5 minutes I'm talking to one person, 50 people are walking by. And so I need your help to come out and talk to people. I need more volunteers. I need people to come out and help. I need people to donate a little bit of cash so that we can buy another tent, so that we can have 2 events at once. I need just some support from you guys, just participating. And so I really encourage you to sign up for events. It's not that hard. If you're not a person that likes to talk, that's fine. We've got jobs for you. We've got data entry jobs. If you're a person that likes to talk, we'll give you the spiel. You'll try it a couple of times. You'll fail a couple of times. You'll succeed a few more times after that. It's a learning process, but it's really great, and you get really used to it really quickly. And it's a lot of fun talking to people and hearing their different points of view and engaging with them. And I really encourage you to come out to these events. So thank you. Okay, so current stats. Everybody always wants to know the current stats. We have about 927 signatures so far. We're just about to cross the 1 grand mark. This has been a lot of work. We think that our work with the candidates, having Stephen McDowell on, having Wendy Bozel on, this has all happened within, what, Stephen, what did we announce? September 2nd or something like that? So it's been 10 days. And Wendy just announced this morning. So, we think that with adding candidates, and believe me, there's probably 5 or 6 more to come in the near future, and affiliates. Adding those, we think the signatures are going to go up. We're counting on folks like Stephen and Wendy to add their supporters to the signatures as well. And we think we're going to get there. So I just want to, that number may look a little small, but I want everybody to be encouraged by it. We've been doing this since April of this year. It's now September, so that's May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. And August was kind of a bust because everybody was away for vacation. So call it 4 months. We're doing pretty good. Last month, we had 91 new supporters sign up on the website. We had 8 new volunteers, including Rachel and Mark and Liz. We had 7 new donors. We need more new donors. We had a 100% increase in donations, which is great, but I encourage everybody to set up a recurring donation. It's really easy. $5, $10 a month, $25 a month if you can afford it. Just a little bit of money every month, as much as it would cost you to go to Starbucks once a week, will help us immensely in supporting the Forward Party in Maryland. And we had a 106% increase in reached accounts on Instagram. So that was really cool. Instagram is really taking off, and PJ is pretty much to get credit for that. And Mike, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just also just a clarification on for the monthly donations. Please make sure you're donating on MarylandForwardParty.com. If you donate on ForwardParty.com, they appreciate the donation. However, that is put into the national party bucket instead of our bucket. So please be sure that you're donating to our local efforts here.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Michael. I should have mentioned that. I appreciate it. Stephen?
No, I wanted to say that, what is his name? Jim Loki from Fox 5, the local channel, emailed me last night. They would like us or like me to be on this show the 25th. So I'd love to work with someone to craft just a message, because at some point I'm sure I'll get to plug, and I'd like to plug also signatures, for the Forward Party.
Sure. Yeah, we should definitely run that past national. My initial thought is, if you want to learn more about the Forward Party, go to MarylandForwardParty.com, and there's a petition button there, and I'd leave it at that. But we'll talk to national about it. When did you say?
The week of September 25th. So not next week. I think the week after.
Okay, we'll
Yep.
put that down, and we'll get right on it. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody else have a question, comment? Okay, moving on. Website improvements. So we added the candidate affiliation pledge to the website. If you go onto the website, you'll see all the Forward affiliate bios. So on the top, on the banner, there's each of the 2 Forward candidates that we currently have publicly available, and you can click through to get to their individual bio page. And we also have a page drop down from About that'll tell you all about both candidates, and then you can click through to that. I also worked with Dave to make sure that, and Dave Brown is our website guru. We made sure that the pledges are actually visibly available. So the signatures that our candidates are signing, we're holding them accountable to their pledges, as well as all the details of the pledges. So we just want you all to know that these candidates are serious about what they're doing. We're not just doing something in the dark. We're working on board member bios. We have a section for that. We need some headshots. We need to put some stuff up there. We want you guys to know who we are. We're working on county specific pages, and we'd really like to know what you want to see that we haven't already included. We consolidated down the site a lot. We made all of the updates in one section. We made all of the news in another, or the upcoming events in another, so that they're kind of side by side now. We've added in on all the social media links and make sure that they're accessible. We added in a second slider, did a whole bunch of cool stuff, and we'd like to hear what else you guys want to see. So if you have a suggestion, please send it to Maryland@forwardparty.com, or just click the suggestion section on the website. We'd love to hear from you. Anybody else want to say anything on that? Okay. Merch. So some of you may recall we had merchandise available starting in July. We've expanded that merchandise a little bit. We have T-shirts now. Beside the printed Maryland T-shirt, which is a wicking T-shirt. It's really quite nice. I'm not wearing it this evening. The polo is also quite nice, but we also got some single color T-shirts without the Maryland background on it. There's vinyl stickers. Somebody ordered a tote bag recently. Somebody ordered a pullover hoodie. I really like the hat, which I'm not wearing this evening. But there's all sorts of cool stuff there. If there's something you want to see for merch that's not on there, let us know. We're happy to add it. It's really easy. We do this on a pay-as-you-go basis. So as you order it, then it costs us money. But we also get a part of everything that you buy, and that's actually why we're doing it, so that we can raise a little bit of money along the way. So the QR code is right there. I'll leave it up for another couple of seconds so that you can grab it with your phone. You can go straight to that site, and you can order your Maryland Forward Party merch. All right, we'll have this up on the website later. Communications in the petition. So you want to reach us on Facebook, look for Forward Party Maryland. You want to look at Twitter, go to @forward_Maryland, Instagram, _Maryland, Threads, _Maryland. You can download the petition from the website. Like I said before, there's a button at the top. Go right there and you're all set. There's also the QR code there for Instagram and for Facebook. And we want to hear from you. The best thing you can do for us, if you want to help promote us, is share and like our posts. And if you're retweeting in some way, put a comment on it. A quoted tweet is always treated better than just a retweet. So take a moment to say something about it and like and tweet us away. All right, next thing on the list, not last, is upcoming events, and I think John's going to take this one away. Right, John?
Yes.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Somebody must have put that in while I was talking, because that wasn't in there before. That's hilarious.
Nice event shot there.
This is why I don't give guys access to the Google site. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Okay, go on.
It wasn't me, but somebody did it. Mike's got a big smile on his face, so anyway, hello everyone. Upcoming events. So the Forward train is continuing to chug along, and I don't just say that because we're doing Brunswick Railroad Days, although I will be the purveyor of bad puns tonight. Middletown Heritage Festival. That's in Middletown here in Frederick County. It's just a few minutes to the west of the city of Frederick. At that event, we've been averaging about 100 signatures per event. So probably at that one, 2 Saturdays from now, September 23rd is when we'll cross over into 4 digits for our petition signature collection. So if anyone can be there helping out Matt and Dave Brown and I, manning that table, your presence would be greatly appreciated. And you can celebrate with us afterwards when we hit that 1,000 signature mark. Next thing we have coming up is a 2-day event on the first full weekend of October. So that's October 7th and 8th, and that is in my town of Brunswick. And I need your help with that because it's 2 days, and I also personally have some local commitments for things I volunteer with in the town. So the more people we can get to help man the Forward booth, the more successful that event is going to be. And Brunswick's a great place, great fun, lots of other things to do at the event, including taking a little joyride on a train out into West Virginia and back is a future year. As you can see, I think Pete, thank you, Pete, for making these little. Maybe we can do that for merch. We will see. Sorry, in the chat, Pete suggested train conductor hats for Forward. We'll see about that. But thanks, Pete, also for including these little QR codes here. So anyone, you can just go and open your phone camera, scan that QR code on your screen, and they'll take you right to the event page for these events where you can sign up to RSVP. The other way you can see our upcoming events, which we keep current, is by going to MarylandForwardParty.com, selecting Get Involved, and then Upcoming Events. And on that, you will also see, as of today, Mactoberfest in Caroline County, which Kristen briefly mentioned earlier. That's going to be on October 28th. My understanding is it is a community festival / mac and cheese cook-off contest. So it has the advantage of some very tasty food, in addition to the opportunity to talk to folks and get some signatures for a petition. It's also the first event that we'll be hosting on the Eastern Shore. So if any of you can make it across the Bay Bridge and get out there, or if you're already out there now, please go and RSVP for that. Kristen will need all the help that she can get. And we're going to have more events coming up too, as well. You know, we're going to make sure we keep that event page stocked. And as Matt said earlier, I just want to emphasize that, you know, the most important thing that you can do to support Forward in Maryland is to show up and volunteer at one of these events. You know, every person there gets put to work productively and makes a big difference. And it's enjoyable. We have fun when we do it, and we usually get together and have fun, you know, debriefing, you know, afterwards as well. So it, you know, sort of builds camaraderie, builds community, gets the word out. And it's really a great way to get involved, you know, whether you're up front talking with people or in the back entering the data from the petition forms. And then one last thing, perhaps the next most important thing you can do to support Forward, at least from my perspective as the events lead, is give us suggestions for events that we can participate in, you know, in your area, or even if it's not in your area, if it's an event that you know about. We've got the winter months coming up. Events aren't always that easy to find at that point. So if you've got something in mind, November through February, or later, if you know something coming up next year, please send your idea to Maryland@forwardparty.com. And I think there's also a button on the upcoming events page where you can plug in your event ideas directly. The more sort of ideas we have looking ahead, see, I avoided the forward pun right there. Looking ahead, the better it is for us to be able to keep this momentum up, keep getting signatures, and, you know, start getting that 1,000 to 10,000, which we'll do so long as we keep going. That's all I got. Thank you very much. Please sign up to volunteer for an event at the first opportunity you have when one is open for you.
And there's always room, so don't worry about. You know, there's 6 people there. I don't care that we can put a 7th person in. We can put an 8th person in. We'll take as many as we can get for these events. And I just want to thank John for stepping up to be the outreach and events coordinator. He really did a big bullet for that, and we needed the help on that. And as a result, Mike has taken over the fundraising chair. Because he was doing outreach and events before. So, you know, the reshuffling of that really helped. And if any of you want to get involved at the planning level, like we're at right now, just let us know. There's plenty of room. There's lots of volunteer positions available. And that leads me to the next slide, volunteers needed. So we need county leads. We need outreach people. We now have an outreach committee, which is great. Bill, is it Smith?
Stewart.
Thank you. Bill Stewart is now running our outreach committee. Communications, there's always room for somebody to take over Twitter or some other social media. Threads really need some help. And you know, if that's your thing, you want to do graphic design, whatever, there's room for you. Policy priorities, Pete is trying to get our policy priorities group up and on the started up, and he's got some great ideas, and he wants to do some town halls and such, so there's always room there to help out with that. Fundraising, of course, you happen to know somebody with deep pockets, we want to talk to them. You want to talk, you want to host an event in your backyard like I'm planning for October, we'd love to hear from you. There's lots of fundraising opportunities, and we need the funds to be able to do the work of Forward. Signature collection, like we talked about, come out to the events and help us. And then campaign support. Our candidates, our affiliates are going to need your help as well. But of course, you're not going to be doing that as Forward members. You'll be doing that as individual supporters because we can't collaborate with our affiliates at the moment. Brandon, did you want to say something? Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to tell John that I'm going to try to be in Brunswick at least one of those days. So I'll be up there.
Brilliant. John, did you want to add something?
Yes, I did want to add something. Thanks. In terms of the county leads point, all of you saw the maps that we had at the beginning showing, where we have county leads and where we don't. But don't be discouraged. If you live in one of the counties where we do have a county lead for it, if you're interested in getting involved with your county, still let us know. You may have seen that in some of them. I think one, it showed, Matt and I for 4 counties in Western Maryland. If you're in, say, Allegheny, Washington, or Frederick County, or Garrett, and you want to take responsibility for one of those counties, we would be absolutely happy to offload some of that to you. Same deal for some of the other counties where, there's a board member that's also doubling down as county lead. I imagine Brandon would love to have someone take point in Montgomery County while he executes as many duties as vice chair of the Maryland Forward Party. So just, because you might not have seen it as one of the currently not covered counties on the map, doesn't mean that that's not an option available to you.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. In case you didn't get the message, short and sweet, we are overwhelmed and we need your help. Mike?
Yeah, also just one thing on the fundraising front, keep an eye open on your emails. We have a great opportunity that has been presented to us. Unfortunately, we can't talk about it too much in detail. However, it will take some money to get forward, so keep an eye on your email. We're going to be launching a campaign to try and get us over the finish line to do it. Along that campaign too, we are going to be asking for is going to be part of funding a second event setup rig, so that way we are able to get tents, weight bags, tables, banners, and everything else for that. So just letting you know it's coming, and we'll have a campaign hopefully here somewhat shortly.
Terrific. Thanks, Mike. And Stephen.
I was going to say everyone always has opinions about how to do something and accomplish something, but I couldn't help but to remember back when I worked for the chamber, majority of the business owners were independents. People like Steve Barber just like registered as a Democrat, for example, just to be able to work or own a business in the county. Most of those folks live in like Damascus and then the chambers. They're very connected to the chambers. What strategy could we employ to engage more of the chambers? I know they don't like to look like they're choosing favorites, but there's like always their young professional groups, their early career or early stage business groups that might attend like a some sort of social at Wardaka or Lone Oak, those types of things. I don't know where everyone will buy their own drink. You have a table there able to pop up and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just thinking about outreach strategies at this point because there are a number of people who would be interested in signing those petitions.
That's great. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more offline, and we'll explore that. All right. So.
That might actually be a good opportunity for what we're talking about next. So this is a new format of events that we've started doing some trial runs on, and that we want to look at expanding. And it gets into the place of we talked about providing and setting up the priorities for candidates so that they know what the will of the people is and what people actually want to do. And so to do that, we have to know what the will of the people is. We have to know what people care about. We have to know what are those things that that everybody prioritizes. And because this is a question that we get all the time. What does the Forward Party actually stand for? And as you can see, our process is different. We are not going to do things the same way that the other parties do this. We are going to approach this in a different way that we plan and intend for this to be a better way, to get better outcomes for this stuff. And so we get approached with this question, and we hit this thing of like where some people are asking us to put together a platform and take some stances on certain things. But as soon as we pick one platform, then somebody steps up and says, well, if that's your platform, then I don't like you. Because we're in these polarized kind of communities right now. So we get boxed into a corner if we pick a platform. On the flip side, we can't just say, all right, candidates, do whatever you want. They may, so candidates would love to have the freedom to be able to choose whatever their platform is, but if that doesn't match up with the wishes of the people, we've got an issue there, and that's a thing that we need to tackle. Now, we kind of noticed a little bit, and I can go into all the details about how we do this, the format for this talk, but we started to notice that this pattern has been showing up for really, honestly, a couple hundred years, if not more than 1,000 years going back. The two-party system basically sets up this thing of like, well, we got this choice or that choice, take your pick. And we don't want to do that anymore. So we want to have an alternative way. So this is not going to look like your grandfather's party. This is not, to borrow that, phrase from, a couple decades ago in the commercials. This is not going to look like the process that you're used to seeing when it comes to setting a party platform, and that is on purpose. Matt, could you go to the next slide? So there's an exercise that we have been running that's called Prioritized Epic Problems. And it says for each of the things that we want to do, each of the things that people want to accomplish, what if we talk about the problems we're trying to solve instead of getting so hung up in the solutions that we want to implement? So instead of coming forward and saying, oh, we need to have a platform. Well, why do we want to have a platform? Well, if we support candidates who are self-serving, then we're silencing the voice of the people. We want to be working for the voice of the people. So let's talk about the problem instead of the solution. We don't need a platform. What we need to do is to make sure that the candidates are speaking on behalf of the people that they represent. Likewise, the idea of giving candidates complete freedom, the problem behind that is that there might be too many constraints, might eliminate some great candidates and some great ideas. So let's make sure that we're supporting great candidates and we're supporting great ideas that are reflecting the voices of the people. And can we do all of these things together? So one of the things that you may see as you start to look around is as we have each of these solutions that get rolled out from the various different parties, is that they'll pick one problem, they'll solve that one problem, and they'll create 5 more problems. Because if you solve any problem in isolation, it usually just creates more problems. So what we want to do is we want to go out into the community. We want to talk about all the problems. We want to collect problems. We want to hear what the problems are within the communities and put them all together in a list. And so we've got a format, we've got a technique for all of this that allows us to collect these things, have some discussions about it, have some really good debates about it, but do it in a collaborative way where we're listening to each other and we're giving opportunities for some of the best ideas to come out and float to the top. And then we're going to present these lists of problems to our candidates and say, this is what the people of Maryland want you to solve. How could you do that? And how could you solve as many problems as you can? So this is our unique approach to figuring out what our priorities are, what our platform is that we want to do. And this might be great to go and host at a business, Chamber of Commerce. So maybe different Chamber of Commerces around Maryland, chambers of commerce around Maryland would love to have a discussion thing where we can bring in the businesses in that area and talk about what problems are those businesses facing. Another one that's been brought up is churches or communities and neighborhoods. So if you can think of any place that you belong to, maybe it's a neighborhood association that you're part of, or maybe it's a church that you're part of, or maybe you're part of, a different type of membership group, or an alumni situation, or, a college, that you used to belong to, or a school that your kids, and you get together with your PTA folks. Whatever situation that you have where you can probably get together a bunch of people who have opinions and are very opinionated, we would like to bring in this format and give this a way to collect those problems, document those problems, and then make sure that those problems are put in front of great candidates like Stephen and Wendy, so that they can come back and say, hey, this is how I'm going to solve these problems that you care about in your community. So that's what we're looking for. That is our format that we're trying to do. We want to run, if you go to the next slide, we have one more slide on this. So these are some of the problem statements that have been raised so far, but we want to pull this together and come up with real solutions, because the other thing is that while we have things called solutions, if solutions don't solve problems, they're not a solution. So we're tired of implementing things that don't work. We want to find things that actually solve problems. So reach out to me, reach out to Maryland at marylandforwardparty.com or maryland@forwardparty.com. Send us some ideas, any suggestions that you might have, and we will set up some events and bring this format in, and we want to have some town halls.
Thanks so much, Pete. And this is really what makes one of the things that makes Forward different from the other parties that are out there is we're not telling you what to think. We're asking you what you think. So, Wendy, did you have something you wanted to say?
I just wanted to say that I really like that idea that was just brought up. Like, yes, bring your problems and let's come up with a solution. I love it. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Create problems, just solve them.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying we don't want to create problems. We just want to solve them.
That's right. That's right. And one of Pete's mantras is that whatever problem we solve, because he has this really great format where he ranks the problems, and so there's problem number 1, problem number 2, problem number 3, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody agrees on the order of the problems, and there's ways to figure out what order they go in, and there's a whole process. But the underlying format of that is that whatever solution you propose can't make a higher order problem worse. So that's a really important factor in this. So thank you, Pete, for your work on this. And then,
by the way, it's also a great way for us to get more signatures. So if you want to help us get signatures, this is a great way to come in. We're not just coming in and asking for signatures. We're coming in to listen to the people in the groups that you're in, and we're going to bring signature sheets with us. But if you can help us get signatures by getting us in front of teams to be able, or groups to be able to run events like this, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I plan to do that also, and I want to add a tab to my website to show people how they can sign up.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right. So in closeout, we want to hear from you a little bit, those of you who haven't spoken at all during this, because we haven't given you an opportunity to speak yet. Is there anybody that would like to tell us, where you're from, what brought you to Forward, what local issues are important to you? Anything you want to say about anything you heard this evening? Go ahead and raise your hand and we'll call on you. I don't want to belabor this too much, but I do want to give people an opportunity to speak. We are a little over time. Okay. Well, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, yes, Steve.
Yeah, it took me a while to unmute. I'm not muted. It took me a while to find the raise your hand button. I just want to say that I supported Neil Simon in 2018, I think it was. He ran as an independent for the Senate, and I think he's got to be the kind of guy that we want. And I hope that the Forward Party will reach out to him and see what you can do.
Very good. We will take that under advisement and we will try to contact him and see what he has to say.
Wonderful.
Of course, this is all about choice. We don't force anybody to do anything. So he's free to say, no, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, good.
All right. Anybody else? Yeah, we've heard good things about Neil Simon. I think Brandon's trying to reach out to him. So, all right. How can you help? Consider running. Let us know who else is running that we should talk to, just like Steve just did. Sign the petition if you haven't already done so. Go to the website, click the petition button, download it, mail it back to me, and I'll make sure it gets entered into our database. Sign up for Discord. There's instructions on forwardparty.com/discord_instructions_tips. Biggest thing you can do to help us without actually coming out to volunteer is donate. We really need those funds every month coming in so that we can do these events. Each one of these events costs us money to register. Every time we need to print flyers, it costs us money. Every time we need to make buttons, it costs us money. We have to provide water to our volunteers. You know, all this stuff that you think is just a little niddly piddly here and there, it costs money and it adds up, and we need your help. So $5, $10 a month makes a big difference. Of course, volunteering. We absolutely want you to come out and volunteer and participate with us. And we already said candidate suggestions. So email us at marylandforwardparty.com or visit our website at www.marylandforwardparty.com. And we want to hear more from you. And we want to build this party so that you can have more choices and so that you can participate in the process all the way from primaries and going forward, and so that you have an equal voice in politics in Maryland. So we are out to change the face of politics in Maryland, and we need your support. Thank you very much. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.